Hello and welcome to this episode of The Shyft. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'm your host Lillian Kelani, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you here on the show. The goal of the Shyft Wellness Center is to create a safe platform for people to freely talk about day-to-day issues and how they interact with our mental health without the fear of discrimination and stigmatization. Today I have a very special guest with me, Mr. Felicien Mungura.
Right.
Did I say that right?
Correct.
I want to get a Felicien.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Okay. So my guest today is a 20-year-old young man who is actually in full-time working and full-time entrepreneur.
Yes.
Okay, so you work full-time and you actually do business full-time.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So then, welcome to the show, because I know that
Thank
apart
you.
from that, you do a lot in the community.
Right.
You volunteer your time to help in the community as well, and you're part of a youth group here in
Yes.
Edmonton. So that's kind of a lot to do at the same time.
It is, but at the same time, also now we young people have a lot of time in our hands. So.
Well, that's the good thing. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
best thing about being young is you have what we call
Exactly.
time,
Exactly.
which is a commodity.
Yeah.
And the good thing with you is you're actually maximizing the time.
Exactly.
Because a lot of young people feel that I have all the time in the world, but trust me guys, it doesn't take long before you become old and wrinkly like myself. Okay,
Oh,
so cherish
not
every
wrinkly.
moment. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about how are you?
I am good. I am good. Pretty good.
Okay, and how has the pandemic treated you?
The pandemic.
Or how is it treating you? Because we're still in it.
True. True. The pandemic has been a little. It was a little eye-opening for me. I think it made a lot of things clear.
Okay.
A lot of people say that it was one of the worst times of their lives, and I don't disagree. But for me, it turned out to be one of the best things, or like the best moments, because I figured out what I wanted to do and who I was. And because, I mean, that's a journey to figure out who you are, but it was a start, a beginning to figuring out who I am and what I want to be in the future.
Nice. Now I'm going to talk about something very quickly before we go into the very serious subject.
Yeah.
I heard that you had a 20th birthday that was the talk of the town because you had friends who actually came to surprise you with limo and all this nice stuff. Let's talk about that. How was that for you?
I had an amazing time, and truly blessed to have friends like those. It's one of it's a I don't know how you call it. I guess it's luck, and having friends like those. Truly, I've never celebrated my birthday until the 20th.
Wow.
So it was a huge surprise to me. It was actually 3 surprises in the same day.
Wow.
So it was an
Good
amazing
thing you have
time.
a strong heart to take that.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, maybe at 21 they'll throw you off a helicopter or something.
Exactly, fly me out of the city or something, yeah.
I mean, the weather, maybe pandemic will be over.
Hopefully.
You guys might go somewhere nice like Hawaii,
Yes.
Jamaica, Africa, nice places
Africa,
like that.
yes.
You know? Wow,
Yes.
okay, that's good. It's good to be
Yeah.
young. It's good to have good people around you.
It's a
And
blessing.
congratulations on your birthday.
Thank you.
So then I want to talk about you being 20
Yeah.
and working full time.
Yeah.
Why did you choose that over, like, because most people at this age, they mix college with
Yeah, a lot
school.
of things.
Yeah.
First of all, the reason why I'm working at the moment, I would say that one of the first main reasons is because truly I want to support home. And me having parents who are originally African, which really want me to go to school, they were either like, you either go to school or you show us how you're going to make an income.
Right.
So I chose to do work full time, and I chose to do something that is very community related and is very much giving back to the community. So I work in, I would say, healthcare. I work with young adults with disabilities.
Right.
So it's something that I found that it gives you a whole different perspective of you in life. And apart from just like the pay and the money, I'm actually doing something towards society that has an impact.
Okay.
Right?
So here is what the parent in me would think.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know
Yes.
that African parents are very, very, very passionate about education.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
from a very young age, you're told education is the best
school, go to
policy.
school.
It's everything to us. We don't care if we sell everything to actually get you that education.
Yes.
Now, would like, would you think of like my concern is, yes, you're doing a lot right now for the community, but without having those layers, unfortunately, we're still in a society where you still need those certificates to get to some levels and be able to help people at a higher level. Because I know for
Right.
me, that was always why I went a little bit further, because I felt like I could make some better decisions in some positions. So, for example, a physician has way more control over a patient than housekeeping staff,
Yes.
right? So,
Right.
so to be able to even do more, sometimes you just need that.
Yeah, that is very much understandable, and I want to thank my parents because they've truly sacrificed a lot for me to be here in this country, you know, and for me to be able to have access to schooling, access to everything that I need, and especially because my parents are very old. My dad is like almost 55 at the moment.
Jesus,
Well-
that's very old.
well,
Oh my
see-
God, I'm aging.
Well,
This
yeah,
child has
55
killed me.
is.
How can 55 be very
He calls
old?
himself an old man.
No, it's not.
And he
He's-
acts very old, so I really don't know. But like he says he's very old.
I wonder what my
And-
kids say about me. They probably say my mom is very old. Oh my God, this is terrible.
But yeah, so my parents grew up in a very like rural area in Congo, so
Right.
they truly never finished school. So I truly want to thank them because they've given up everything for us, for me and my siblings. I have 4 siblings, for us to be here and actually have an opportunity to go to school. But that said, as a young person from my young age, I've gone to school for 12 years, and I just find that for me, my passion to do what I want to do in life is that I don't find it in school, but I always seem to find passion outside of school. I went to school, I did all the subjects that everybody did, but I couldn't find my passion in there. Like I did it to study, education is everything, but also it's just that I find my passion in my different education outside of school. So that's why I decided to give school for a minute, like a pause, so I can take actually time to kind of invest and just like, I guess, look into like my passions outside of school
Okay.
for the moment.
So 2 things is, you're saying that it's a pause, it's not a stop.
It's a pause
Okay.
because as much as your passion might be outside of school, when you find it, it might lead you back to school.
Exactly.
Right? So for
Yeah.
me, it's just that it's a pause for the moment, and I'm just trying to find and figure out what I actually want to do because I never actually found it in school. I'm not like everybody who went to school and they're like, oh, I actually want to become a doctor, I want to become a politician, or I want to become an engineer and whatever. I just found out that mine was always outside. I wanted to help people, like not in a sense of me being a doctor or an engineer or doing something that, you know, relates to stuff like that, but it was all I always found it outside. So that's why I kind of took time off to just invest into that, just find myself in that, and then when I find it, who knows, it might lead me back
Lead you
to
back
school.
to school, because you might
Yeah.
need that. Okay, so then what's
Exactly.
your passion?
I have passion for a lot of things.
Okay, let's hear
I
it.
do have passion for a lot of things. I have passion for, I would say, serving in general, and working with young people, working in the church with young people. I have a passion for music, so that is something I'm exploring at the moment as well, which might lead me back to school to
Right.
study for music, and I might take that up. And yeah, those are just like the first few things. And I have a passion for money.
Okay.
I have a passion for money, yes,
Yes.
for wealth.
Wealth,
I guess
for
you
wealth.
would
And,
say,
and
yeah.
the reason is, you know, I know you and I've talked to you a lot,
Yeah.
and I think when we talk about wealth, you're not just looking for it because you want to look fly or something. It's
definitely
because
not.
you want to be able to actually use it to still better
Yeah.
the community
Yes,
and
exactly.
help other people as well,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So then when we talk about you know, your passion for wealth, let's talk about your business side.
Yes.
So then what is your
Okay,
full-time
yes,
business?
all right. So now apart from me doing full-time working, I also do full-time kind of investing and actually searching and doing researches for myself to actually do investments, right? For that, I find that when you invest, well, the whole aspect of money working for you is what I've always wanted. You know, I never actually want to put my time so that I can actually make money, right? Exchange my time for money. I want money to work for me, which is how you get to experience your passion to the fullest and actually live it out, right? So I've always wanted to find things that work for me. Money just work for me. Money keep increasing for me, so that I have time to actually do something that I like, not stressing on, oh, where's the bill gonna be paid from? Where am I gonna get rent from? How am I gonna support my parents? How am I gonna support my kids in the future when I have a family, right? So that's the reason why at the moment I would say that I'm actually a full-time aspiring entrepreneur. Yeah,
Okay.
because I actually need or want something to work for me as I actually do something that I really love and do it passionately, not
Yeah.
because I want to make money from
Money,
it.
yeah.
Yes.
And that's very key.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time people trade their lives for money,
Exactly,
because you
yeah.
want to be able to do that. So then you talked about investing. What kind of investing?
Yeah.
Because there are so many types of investing
There's
out
so many
there.
types of investing outside here. I do forex trading. That's
Okay.
a first. Day-to-day trading, day trading. I've looked into stocks and cryptocurrency, so I do that as well.
How's
And
that? Like that? Those things.
that
Okay.
is, well, see, the thing is, it's scary.
Exactly.
At
That,
the
I was
beginning,
gonna say
at
those
first,
things are very scary.
at first, it's very scary, and I will use this famous, I guess, quote that every entrepreneur uses. Risk takers are money makers. You have to take a risk at the beginning because you truly don't know where the market is gonna go or what's gonna happen to the market. It's just that you have to use the information that you have at the moment, figure out where the market is going or how the world is gonna proceed in the future, right? And that's how we invest in Bitcoin. We invest in different like cryptocurrencies and stocks as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you're trying to build your future, right? And that's why you're doing all these things.
That's why I'm doing all these things. Things like stocks and like cryptocurrencies. Those are things that are growing exponentially every single day. And like during like years to come, those are gonna be huge things everywhere. So when you invest in them at the moment, by the time it's gonna come to the future, you will be having a whole lot of wealth that you're able to settle in and actually do things that you like.
Okay, so then I had another guest not that long ago that talked about the same thing about all these platforms and online platform and putting, you know, your money there. Like some people are still scared in cyberspace. Like this is something you can't see. What if your money hangs? That's how somebody older than me or my age would be like, okay, sounds good, but what if I don't get my money
Well,
back?
see, the thing is, the difference between people who are like usually scared and people who are actually willing to take risks is because people who are scared to invest a lot of the times are people who think that this is going to be a night out thing. Like you're gonna invest in it,
And
tomorrow
get the
morning
repeat
you're
immediately.
good,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And that's richness. That's not wealth. Wealth takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of
Oh, pause. I've never heard that. So you're saying, okay, so differentiate between
So there's a
richness
difference
and wealth.
between richness and wealth, right?
Okay.
Being rich is very much like, okay, if let's say for example I were to win a lottery today and I got 1 million from it, I'm definitely rich because I have more money, let's say for example, than the next person who's close to me. I'm rich, I'm richer than them. But having wealth is having assets that actually keep you rich for the rest of your life,
Right.
or for the most part of your life. That's wealth, right? So a lot of people think that when you are doing investments or like when you hear opportunities to invest is that you put it tonight, you invest tonight,
And it comes
and then
out
tomorrow morning you're driving a Lamborghini, you're driving a nice car, you're living in a nice house, right?
That would be nice.
And exactly, but knowledge is key in these things, right?
Yeah.
Knowledge is key. You have to do your research. You have to fail a couple times. And a lot of people think that you have to have a huge amount of money to actually start investing, but that's not true. There's people that I know, and I think my friend told me this, that there are people turning $500 investments into 10,000 over months or a month, right?
Okay.
And that is all coming from knowledge and knowing what you're investing in and actually putting time into it, right? So when you talk about investing, a lot of people see it as a side hustle, right? And if you actually want to succeed into it, you have to make it more than just a side hustle.
Ah, man, I think that's where most people just
Exactly, right?
because putting the time in and being
Yeah.
able to you because there's a psychology to everything. So there's a
Always,
psychology
yeah.
to invest in as well. And there's also the mental strain of investing because if you lose money you could lose your mind.
Exactly.
So talk
That's
about
true.
like do you know people that have I mean I know
I
that you don't lose money until if you don't
I'm
keep
gonna
going.
give an example of myself. I've lost a lot of money, quite a
Okay.
lot of money before, but I've made more. I'll give an example. There's a time when I was starting out, I borrowed my father $1,500, and I had $1,500 on the side myself that I had saved. I put them together 3,000, and that's when I was just first starting, and I thought, if I have this large sum of amount of money, if I put it in, if I invest it, then you know what, it's gonna double quick, and it's gonna be a lot, right? I put it in less than 3 days. It was all gone.
Oh,
It was wiped out. I had like a couple dollars left in there.
what did you do? How did you handle that?
Well, the thing is anxiety and just being stressed and not having the correct information and the right tools to use is that I put it in, I lost the trade, I got anxious, I got scared, and I was like, oh my god, I need to make that black money, I need to make it real fast, quick, right? Because this is not my money, this is my dad's money and all that. When all that comes in, you start making decisions coming off the emotions that you're going through at the
Right.
point, right? And when it comes to money, emotions you have to put aside for a while,
Wow.
right? So when you invest money, you have to put your emotions aside for a while. But yeah, I got scared. I started making wrong decisions. I traded overnight. I made wrong trades. I called wrong things. 3,000 was gone.
And your father did not disown you?
Well, he was this close. He was this close. He was this close. He still talks about it today. Although I returned it with interest.
Good. So how then
So-
did you bring yourself back? How did you
You have
pick
to
yourself
collect.
back
You
up?
have to collect yourself every single time. Because if you want to do this, you have to, every time you fall down, you have to come back up. Because for me, I had no other choice. This is what I'm trying to do. I know I'm trying to make wealth. I'm trying to build something, trying to build an empire for my future. So I know if I fail today, I know tomorrow something better is coming. So I get up, I collect myself, I say, you know what? I'll put the last bit I got, and then we'll see how it goes.
Wow.
I'll just
So
take
you're
my
only
time.
20. Like, how does a 20-year-old think this deep and this far? Like,
See,
why do you have this kind of mindset?
I
Because
will say
I think
that,
most of your
yeah,
mates are busy.
schooling. Going to school.
Well, I still think you should go to school. I would say.
I know you do. I know you do.
I think you should
but-
do maybe online business or something that would,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah, my dad was saying the same thing. He was
Yeah.
telling me to go to business school, but I'm like, I'm doing business right now, so.
Well,
But yeah, no. I guess.
let me come in there. There's something I heard a few days ago where someone said the fact that you read a textbook does not mean you can. Who said that? It's very recent. You read a textbook does not mean you can actually perform surgery. You have to go to school to get that degree for you to be able to perform surgery. That's the same thing with schooling to add to what you're doing. It doesn't mean that that's what will fetch you money. It's just the world we live in.
True.
You still need that certificate sometimes to open certain doors. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's the only way. If you absolutely can't go to school for different reasons, can't afford it, or your mind is not there, I'd rather people don't go to school than they waste my money going
That's
to school.
true. And
It's like
yeah.
30 years,
But-
$30,000 in 4 years. Don't waste it.
See, the thing also is it's different with different careers that you take in. Because
Yeah.
as a surgeon, if I wanted to be a surgeon, I'm definitely not reading a book and going to perform surgery. No. But see, with businesses, there's I would say with the growth of social media and the growth of just like the internet being there, it has created so much for so many people and created a lot of like opening like your mind type of stuff, right? That has, when you're talking about business, you don't really need to go to school. There's
You
so
don't.
many
I
people
agree.
who do
I agree.
business
Because
that
the
don't.
systems, they teach
My
you the
my
system.
dad does business, and
Mm-hmm.
he's never went to school for business,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, like, I would say that my entrepreneurship, I've kind of gotten it from him, because I've seen him hustle years since like I was born, since like I knew how to work. My dad was always hustling, even though he was doing one thing. My dad was like a director for Compassion Ministries back
Mm-hmm.
home, right? And that means dealing with kids, dealing with a lot of, you know, orphans and stuff like that. But even apart from that, he was doing a lot of investing into like homes and like real estate and all that, right? So I've seen that growing up, and I think that's where my mentality came from. My siblings, a lot of them want to be doctors, want
That's
to be
good.
nurses. People, they want to be police, like they want to get into the army or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just the one who's like sitting here.
That's
like,
okay. I mean, as long as there's one or two in the family that would,
It's like, yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah,
you know,
no,
I'm just pulling your legs. You know, I think
But yeah,
I think you're a very intelligent young man, and you have a lot that you're doing, and you have a lot to offer. And truly, you know, education is not the end or be all.
yeah, and
I just want to make sure that I'm encouraging people to know that, you know, don't say that I don't want to go to school because Felicien said don't go to school. I don't
say
think that's
that.
the message.
No,
you
that's
pass.
not the message.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's
So,
not the
but
message.
if you have other things that you're able to do, you know, then please by all means follow your passion. Like this young man is following his passion.
Yes.
Now, are there some challenges along the way? Challenges of a 20-year-old?
So many.
Because you know, I
So
was 20
many.
years old too many years ago. I don't remember.
So many challenges actually. Waking up in the morning is a challenge. Getting up, saying that I'm going to a full-time job, I'm going from 8 to 4, coming home doing 8 hours of like research and investing, or coming home and going to youth, and as well as I'm a leader at youth, or coming home and from work going to play in church because I'm a drummer, beginner. But not professional. But yes,
Just
like
getting
all
there.
those things, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay, but like all those things are a challenge, because sometimes you want to give up. Sometimes you want to stop, especially with investing, because this is something you're setting up for your future. Sometimes you have these thoughts. You're like, okay, if I failed this many times, then this is definitely not for me, right? But that happens in every single part. Like if I was doing the same thing in school, I failed a lot of exams in grade 12, but I never said, oh, that's not it, right? So that's the thing. Like in life, we have so many challenges. Me, I used to be lazy.
Used to. Okay.
I have some days, okay? But like I used to be lazy a lot, and like when you have all these things to do, that comes out because you're actually busy and you have all these things to do, and not only are you thinking about your today, you're thinking about your future, your 5 years to come, your 10 years to come. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go, right? All these things keep you motivated to keep going and not stop.
And I'm glad you share that, because that's about growing your mind as well.
Exactly.
Because truly, you know, idle man, devil's workshop, it's so true.
Yes.
And so if you occupy your mind, especially at this young age, I'm pretty sure you read books, you know, I'm pretty sure you're trying to, you know, get what you need to get and make it work.
Yes.
And so does like the music side of things, does that sort of help with relieving stress? Is that like your outlet? Because I know that the case for a lot of people.
I think so. With the music, I also do it to serve God, which is, you know, such a huge part of it. And I think actually having a relationship with God and actually doing it for Him brings a lot of peace.
Yes.
Because when I'm on that stage and I'm playing, I just feel like I'm in a whole different world, and I can feel His presence around me, and it just brings peace. And I do play a couple different instruments like piano, and when I do, sometimes I just do it to worship at home, and it's just like it takes you out of that world and puts you in the presence of God, which there's a lot of peace in it. And I guess you can say it does do a lot of stress relieving.
It does. It
Yeah.
does. So then, quickly talk about the mental health challenges that 20-year-olds face in this day and age, and sort of pressure. Like as a
I was about to
20-year-old
say that,
male, what
actually.
kind of pressure do
I was
you
about to
guys?
say that. See, the world today is so different because like the entertainment industry and everything, just like social media and everything going on, having such a huge growth spurt, it has had so many impacts on like young people, and a lot of influencers having like you're seeing young people who are like 15, not even 15, like 18, 20, having like millions, and seeing it all on social media. You're seeing, oh my God, I'm 20 and I'm not a millionaire. I don't have a nice car. I don't have all this, and that's a lot of
shoot myself. Really shoot.
exactly, right. And you want to do all these things, but you're like, oh, there's somebody already doing it, and I'm 23, I'm 22, and there's people younger than me that are making much more than I do at the moment, and it's such a it's a huge pressure on young people who are not really, I guess, who don't have really that. How do I say it? They don't have that opportunity to be able to like influence other people in that level, and a lot of people get pressured from that. You think that as a 20-year-old you should be doing all these big things, but as a 20-year-old,
how bad things are right now?
Very bad.
Wow.
Very bad. Very bad. Because like.
Well, always remember the 20-year-olds that are, in mental institutions. There are 20-year-olds that are dead. There are 20-year-olds that are in jail. There are 20-year-olds in so many other places. So don't keep comparing with the 20-year-olds that are making millions, but also look at the fact that whatever your situation, even if right now you're incarcerated or something, always remember there's somebody worse off. If you're in a mental health hospital, remember it's a season. You're there for treatment and you're going to come out. Whatever you're going through, this is how I keep my mind sane and grounded, is there's still some people that are in worse situations, some people, so remember that at all times. I know our time is running out, but I want to hear your dream for the next 5 years. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I'm hoping in the next 5 years I have property somewhere. I'm hoping my biggest dream is to have a property for my family.
Nice.
Because we really never settled in one country growing up, and we never had like a home.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be able to build a home for my family, and that means everyone in my family. So like all five and my parents, right?
That's nice.
And I want to be able to actually be impacting a lot of people by then, which means it could be the youth in our church. I want my music career to have grown, so I guess I would be professional by then, a drummer professionally, and yeah, it's just something I guess I want to grow into, and I want to be wealthy, or at the beginning of
wealth. Awesome.
Yes.
That's good. So is there anything you want to say to our viewers at home?
Yeah, a lot of things would be said, but honestly,
any last thing on this show you want to share with them?
No, honestly, I would say I really like what you asked, like mental challenges that we face as 20-year-olds, as young people, and I would just like to say that take your time. It's really no rush, and I personally didn't even talk about like the pressure that we get from the community around us. People thinking, oh, you should have done this by this age and this by this age. But if you don't know what you're doing yet, take your time. It's not running. Just be sane enough to actually do something you have passion for, right? And that's
Thank you so much, Mr. Felicien. It's been an
you.
absolute pleasure having you
pleasure
here. I've learned a few things, and I'm sure our viewers have learned a few things as well. Thank you so much for being here. Well, guys, that's all we've been able to do today. Until I see you again, I want to remind you to continue to maintain a positive mental health. Join us on Facebook, on YouTube. Join Praise Nation Radio every Saturday at noon, and continue to stay safe by following the regulations from the public health. Until then, take care. Bye.